guys, welcome back to my channel. So in today's vlog, I'm going to give you 10 quick tips on what not to do on the ketogenic diet. Number one is get off the scale. So I would recommend weighing yourself initially before starting the diet, and then much further down the track once you do actually want to record your results. Use your body and feel and listen to your body as your measurement. So if you're feeling less bloated, if you're looking a little more lean in the mirror, use that as your motivation and your guide to keep going. For example, with the training I'm doing at the moment, so I'm rowing and I'm doing a lot of endurance, heavy leg work, and I got on the scales the other day and I've gained 2 kilos, but I know that that is just muscle mass and muscle gain. So it is very, very easy to throw somebody who doesn't understand this concept, and it will totally demotivate them from continuing on the ketogenic diet. Number 2 is do not ignore symptoms of pain, inflammation, or anything that just makes you feel really off, especially if you're experiencing it for a long period of time. It is your body's way of telling you that it is deficient of something and something isn't right. So once you do feel something that is not right, do your research, figure out what the problem is, and then you can solve it and move forward in the diet. Number 3, don't avoid fibrous foods because you are afraid of their carb content. Remember, you're calculating net carbs, not total carbs. So that is total carbs minus the fiber that you've had, and that will give you your net carbs. So it's essentially giving you more carbs to work with in the day. A lot of people try and avoid vegetables because they are quite carby, but you do need to remember they are also fibrous. The only carbs you should really be steering clear of are starchy vegetables and root vegetables, but just play around with a tracking app like MyFitnessPal or Chronometer, log them in and see what the fiber content is, because you may be surprised with how much more you can have. Most of your vitamins and minerals are coming from vegetables, so make sure you get them in. You want to do this the healthiest way possible. Tip number 4, intermittent fasting. If it doesn't work for you, don't do it. If you're starving in the morning, listen to your body, because you're more at risk of binging and overeating in that eating frame later on in the day. You can get into ketosis without intermittent fasting, so don't stress there. That's the way I did it. It took me a little while to actually get into intermittent fasting because I figured out it was beneficial for my training. However, I got into ketosis eating breakfast, lunch, and dinner at normal times. Well, normal times. Tip number 5, don't lose faith in the diet because you think that it's going to negatively, permanently affect your ability to perform in the gym or when you train. I would say wait until you're adapted, and then performance will improve and you will be pleasantly surprised with how you actually go physically. It's usually within the first month of becoming adapted, becoming fat adapted, that it is really difficult to perform the way you were performing, running off carbohydrates. So what I would do is recommend just keep moving, but lower the intensity of your workouts. And then once you're adapted, you'll feel it and that energy will boost and you can go back to training. Tip number 6, don't put your calorie goal too low because this is really dangerous. Under eating will cause all sorts of issues like loss of period, and you'll just become sick because you're not getting enough vitamins and minerals from the macronutrients because you're not getting enough to perform. You may not be feeling hungry, your appetite's suppressed. However, just be mindful that if you are experiencing symptoms and you don't, like loss of period and things like that, that it may be due to you under eating. Another thing with calories, if your calorie goal is too high and you're feeling all the benefits of the diet, you're feeling awesome, however you're not losing weight and you are testing positive to being in ketosis, it's generally because your calorie goal is too high. Your body will let you know if you're eating too much or if you're under eating. So again, listen to your body and figure out what's going on. Tip number 7, don't replace the sugary sweet things that you were having prior to keto with artificially sweetened things, because you're totally counteracting the effect of the sugar craving suppression. So my palate has completely changed since being fat adapted, and I don't crave sugary sweet things. And I think it's quite dangerous if you are giving your body and tricking your brain into thinking that there is sugar when it is like alcohol sugars and artificial sugars. Like they're not healthy, they're processed. They're just ultimately undoing that sugar craving suppression. Tip number 8, don't freak out about carb ups or cheat meals. Your body is a little more resilient to carbohydrates, so once you are fat adapted, you are easily able to bounce back after a carb up. So for me, if I have a weekend where I've fallen out of ketosis, if I fast until midday on Monday, I'm back in ketosis and I'm there for the rest of the week. And it's just more of a mental kind of obstacle when you're first starting the diet. Carb ups are scary because you don't want to undo anything that you've worked so hard to achieve. But what I will say is this takes adaptation. You do need to get to the adaptation phase in order to bounce back that quickly. Otherwise, it may be way more difficult to get back into ketosis. Tip number 9, don't talk about the diet if you're not surrounded by people who are going to support you. It is a controversial topic. Trust me, believe me, I work in a gym, so obviously nutrition and food is a topic of discussion, and we've got a vegan, we've got somebody who doesn't believe in intermittent fasting, and it's just easier not to say anything than kind of get in an argument where you may, in a lot of situations, can't actually back yourself. So the way of measuring the effectiveness of this diet is listening to your body and actually feeling the benefits. If you're feeling fantastic and you are fully energized, your appetite suppression, you're controlled mentally with your eating, do not let somebody else tell you that this diet isn't for you if it is working and it has actually changed your life, which it has mine. Tip number 10, do not give up until you're adapted and you've figured out this diet isn't for you. If you are experiencing ill symptoms and really negative effects getting into the adaptation phase, do your research, figure out what's wrong and try and solve it before you quit. I understand in the initial phases, if you are quite a social person, if you eat out a lot and you are struggling to kind of combat those temptations, it is tough, but it doesn't mean you can't keep trying. On Monday, set a routine, prepare your meals, get organized, and start again. Once you get to that adaptation phase, I promise you most of you won't want to go back once you feel all the positive benefits of living the ketogenic diet. So don't be discouraged in the first month or however long it takes you to become adapted, because it would be such a shame for you not to experience the ketogenic lifestyle. But thank you so much for watching. Jump onto my Instagram and send me a DM if you have any vlog recommendations. I understand you want to see what I ate in a day and you want to see health. They will be coming later on down the track, so just stay tuned. But in the meantime, send through ideas. I love receiving messages and I love seeing your reposts of food and your recipes and things like that, things that my vlogs have inspired. But yes, thank you again for watching and I will see you next time.